And we are live in a very special edition of Unlimited Intelligence. Larry Johnson, 3 weeks that I don't see you. How are you doing, my friend?
Good. You want to change it to limited intelligence, at least on my part?
It's always unlimited. I'm
Yeah.
limited, but
Okay. Okay.
yours is always unlimited
It's
intelligence.
you look like the Lone Ranger wearing the sunglasses. That's a cool look.
Some of my subscribers said that is Reservoir Dogs.
Okay. That's a
A different point of view, but not too far.
or
Larry, yeah, or
oh no, I just say or like one of the main characters in the Matrix, the movie The Matrix.
yeah, like it's inevitable, something like that.
Okay.
Larry,
What are we talking about?
today we're going to talk about this beautiful view that you have back to me that
Yeah.
is called Rio de Janeiro. I'm back home for a couple of weeks,
Una
perhaps a couple.
bellezza. Una bellezza.
Una belleza, una belleza. And still haven't figured out a lot of things since I arrived. But as I learned, you are also jet lagged because you haven't stopped going and coming from Moscow.
Yeah.
How's everything going, man?
Well, it's been trying to get back into the groove. We're up here, we're getting ready for Christmas. So doing all the Christmas decoration.
Oh,
I'm like the Chevy Chase character from the movie Christmas Vacation. You know, I go for the Clark Griswold Award. No,
yeah.
that they have to fire up a new nuclear power plant in order to keep the lights on in my house.
I can only imagine that. It's you guys put a hell lot of lights around your house. Well, Rio de Janeiro, to be honest, is very decorated as well. It's quite nice to be looking
Yeah.
around here. Some things have improved since last time I've been here.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Others got worse, but yeah, bones to ashes. What can we say? Man, I am a little bit completely out of range of what's going on around the world for the last weeks. I'm right now in a seminar for public safety, public security in Brazil. I don't know if you heard about the incident, the big operation that we had.
They killed
Uh,
about 25 people.
125, so
125.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little higher than that. And well, I will not say it's fortunate. I will not say it's unfortunate. It's a big debate there, but it's good that it opened the debate that it needs to be done for a long time here, especially in Rio de Janeiro. I can tell you that.
Were most of the people who were killed, were they shooting guns back at police, or were these extrajudicial executions?
I cannot say 100%, but from the investigation so far, at least most most of them, that's the highest number I can say. At least most of them were shooting at the police
Okay.
when the situation started, when the operation started.
Yeah, I
And
was trying to figure out if it was a Trump Venezuelan rule.
no, no,
We
no, no,
think they're
no.
doing something bad, so we can kill them.
Well, it is kind of. It is not far from that, because it's also a political movement. Okay, it has very little thing will change from that, but it is also a populist way of getting votes in Rio de Janeiro. It's not unpopular to do that in Rio de Janeiro. And at the same time, yes, there is a problem. There is a high criminality and high drug dealing and all that in these places. It's not that they just shot, fishing boats out of the sea without any judgment or anything. It's more a gray zone than a completely fiasco. It's
Hmm.
far from that. It's not trivial, let's say. But yeah, there's I would say in the highest expectations, perhaps 5 to 10%, 5% perhaps of those people that were killed, perhaps were caught caught in the crossfire. That's highest estimation, I would say.
Hmm.
My opinion. Okay, this is
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
But man, lots of things. You just mentioned Venezuela. How is the situation going between the United States and Venezuela? It doesn't look good at all, man.
Well, we'll know in a couple of 2 or 3 hours, maybe. Trump's supposed to hold a press conference at 2. Now he's meeting right now with his cabinet, so-called cabinet, uh, and he's doing his usual talking to the press. Um, we'll find out if they're going to make any announcement about what they're going to actually do in Venezuela. You know, he's supposedly, this is all about fighting drug trafficking, supposedly, except Trump has just pardoned the former president of Honduras, who was in jail as a major trafficker. You know, so I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It complete lack of consistency. Um, the U.S. has a problem because we've got this military force mobilized off the coast of Venezuela, and the best way I describe it is like if you've ever had a conventional bow and arrow. When you pull the bowstring back and hold it, you can only do that for so long. At some point your muscles start shaking and you lose the strength to do it. Well, that same principle applies here to this putting this U.S. force in place. Basically, it's cocked and loaded, ready to go, but they're not doing anything. And then even if they decide to strike Venezuela, uh, all they're going to do is kill some people that are innocent. They're going to kill civilians. Uh, they may be able to force Maduro from office, but then the country is going to become ungovernable. You will have guerrilla elements. Then whatever new government is installed with the U.S. backing, they'll be attacked. And the border with Brazil and the border with Colombia mean you can get weapons and personnel back and forth without a problem. No, this is a real mess, and it's all completely manufactured. This is a manufactured crisis.
Well, any of the crises that we have in the last, I don't know, 70 years were not manufactured. I think that's the big question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's um, these things just don't happen out of the blue. There's always a story behind it and why it's being done.
Yeah, it's always a story being constructed. And as a Brazilian, I've seen for a long time, all the attempts from the collective West to, you know, make Brazil look bad. But we're kind of cool guys, Everybody likes Brazil. I don't know why. Perhaps because of Carnival. And it's very hard to, first the climate change, the Amazon, and now they are talking about considering the criminal organizations, terrorist groups. That's hard to sell. It's hard to sell that the president, for example, of Brazil, it's a terrorist organizer or a drug dealer or whatever. It's been very hard to sell about Maduro as well. I can tell you that.
Well, look, using the label terrorist,
Yeah.
all of that is a political psychological operation. That's all it is. Because you don't have to call it a particular thing in order to fight it, in order to combat it. But I'm sure, as you may know, if you're going to really go seriously and put a halt to the drug trafficking, you're going to have to go after major businesses and major banks who facilitate it.
It's
But they won't do that because those same banks and businesses are making political contributions and basically buying security.
mhm.
So they just make a show of it and calling this war, uh, equating drug traffickers with terrorists is just it's I think it's um, a meaningless wordplay.
Yeah. Just as an information to you, just recent last week, our Minister of Economy, Haddad is his name. He has contacted the United States to call for investigation to corporations between United States and Brazil for money laundering.
Hmm.
That's an interesting movement on that, and at the same time, kind of puts the United States on the spot because we've seen that most of the money laundering that happens on drug dealing and on criminal organizations end up at some point going to the United States or Panama or those
Well,
fiscal paradise.
Brazil's been a major center for it too. I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
When we started Berg Associates back in 1998, one of the very first cases we worked on were a bunch of money exchange, casas de cambio,
Hmm.
that were moving money in and out of Brazil. It was all drug money,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah,
linked. It was tied into New Jersey of all places. So
yeah. Just recently, we had a big scandal. We have a big scandal of a major bank here. I forgot the name right now, but Bank Master. It's totally connected to money laundering and it, the, how is it called? Border eviction of money, money exchanging, sending money
yeah,
outside and all
yeah.
that. Interesting times we're living here in Brazil as well. I don't know why. It's probably because it's election year next year.
Well, is Bolsonaro still locked up?
Yep, very much.
Yeah.
And I
So
don't
I
think.
mean, this criminalization of politics,
Hmm.
you know, where the Bolsonaro crowd locks up Lula, Lula gets out, locks up the Bolsonaro. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just and they wonder why people lose faith and confidence in the government.
exactly, exactly. It's perfect. That's one thing that we are trying to elucidate people on the channels. Not that crime should not be fight fought, but political instability, well, that's what they call outside. It's not good for the country either.
Hmm.
Let's hope people realize this somehow. All right, man. Since I'm on Rio de Janeiro, let's go to a less violent place on earth. Let's talk about the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Russians are winning, Ukraine is losing. That's the quick summary.
Next topic.
Yeah.
You've been to Moscow twice already. Also, remember, guys, to find all the interviews that Larry made on sonar21.com. Also, all his posts and articles there, and find him on Countercurrents to see all the interviews that he have made in Russia for these last two trips. Larry, what's going on? They're calling you on Russia every 2 weeks. What is the situation? What is the level of criticism, critic of alarm that we are at the conflict right now?
Well, no, let's see. My trips to Russia have the the first one was at the invitation of Russia Today for the
Hmm.
20th anniversary, and then as part of that, I participated with the International Unity Club in interviewing a variety of people, ranging from uh, Maria Zakharova, and then General Abdialudinov, uh, just a number, I 24, 25 different Russians, political leaders, members of the Duma, members of the press, members of important think tanks. So that was about an 11-day trip. That started actually in October and extended into, uh, I guess it was the end of October. And then with a 2 weeks off, I was then invited by Alistair Crook to participate in a series of meetings and seminars with their top foreign policy advisors in Russia. So we spent a good amount of time with Sergei Karaganov, um, among others. So uh, it's good to get on the ground and see how Russia is so completely different from how it's being painted and portrayed in the West.
Yeah, this one. In what has been the takes that you that to take for this last trip on Russia? What is the perspective on the ground? How's people feeling about the special military operation situation at the moment?
Well, there's really not a lot of talk about it. I
Okay,
mean, that's sort of the one.
case
And
closed.
say what?
It's a case closed there. It's
Well, it's
wrap it
not
up.
a case closed, but it's again, it does not dominate the news.
Hmm.
It is not something that the people are talking about. There's not a lot of upset or anger. I think there's just a steely-eyed resolve that they're going to end this. They'd like to see it ended via negotiations if possible, but they're not going to do it at the expense of sacrificing their positions, which is the four former oblasts in Donbass. Those are now permanently part of Russia. They are republics in the Russian Federation. Uh, that has to be recognized. There's no compromise on that. Uh, Putin is not. I think if Putin cut a deal where he said, "Okay, well, we'll stop in place in Zaporizhia and Kherson," I believe there would be an effort to force him from office because yeah, he is he's the voice of reason and moderation. You got a large number of Russians that want to just they are so angry at what the West has done to them, not just over the course of the last 4 years, but prior to that, that they want to destroy it and destroy Ukraine.
Yeah. And what about the situation recently that we saw the scandals? You know, the corruption scandals that are being pointed to Yermak, the what has been called the aide to Zelensky, who happened to write a post that said that don't contact me. I'm going to the front lines.
Yeah, that's nonsense. He's
That's
he,
not.
he wants to go to the front of the line to get out of the country, but that's not going to happen either. Um, no, look, this story was leaked for a reason.
Hmm.
Um, the level of corruption in Ukraine, $100 million is nothing. We're
Nothing.
talking billions, tens of billions, maybe upwards of 48 billion, 50 billion. And the fact that that story was leaked is to me a sign that there's pressure being applied to Zelensky and his supporters to force them from office. The West is trying to prevent a massive defeat by Ukraine. Frankly, I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
Hmm.
Uh, the situation has turned so quickly on the ground now. Just in the last 3 months, the Russians have captured 86 different settlements, towns, cities, villages, and Ukraine has no answer to stop them.
Larry, as I said, I've been from slightly out of the radar for the last weeks. I think those two were the most important topics to discuss this week. And I'm also, as I said, in the middle of this seminar. Do you think there is any very important topic that we should discuss still today?
Well, there's, we got the peace talks, the attempt to get peace talks underway.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think that's going to succeed. Um, you've got the pressure that, looking at the news coverage that's now focused on Pete Hegseth for allegedly ordering the execution of two survivors from the first attack on these boats, which were allegedly carrying illegal narcotics. Uh, that's actually starting to get some legs. So we'll see. Um, we'll see what comes of that. I know he's right now sitting next to Trump. He's got on the TV, um, and he's trying to make his excuses of why we did what we did. But if there's there's a bipartisan effort maybe to try to get rid of him, and then domestically you've got the FBI, Kash Patel, and the
Hmm.
deputy director Dan Bongino are coming under a lot of pressure. So Trump's got some real serious political problems. and he keeps trying to paper it over and pretend that it's all good.
I have one question that I just remember, and that's a gossip. I will treat as a gossip that I just saw these days. That there is a connection between Charlie Kirk and Witkoff. Did you hear anything about that?
I have heard nothing of that.
Okay, I will try to search it deeper. As I said, I've been completely packed with my time, but I'll try to search it deep and send it to you
Yeah, please do.
on Telegram, and then perhaps we discuss this next week
Yeah.
if you're around. But I will be till next week. I will have my internet packed up, wrapped up, and working. I promise. And we are
Okay,
going
man. Sounds
back
good.
to it.
All
All
right.
right.
Enjoy
Now
Rio.
let's go back. Remember, everybody, to like, share, subscribe, be a member of the channels, and also follow Larry on sonar21.com and Countercurrents and all the places like The Judge, Danny Davis, and everywhere else you can find Larry Johnson. My good friend, see you next week.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao. All good.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.